Hi, I'm Tim Carter, and it's 0 degrees out here right now, all right, at my house, and you can tell it's wintertime. I want you to look at this. Check this out. You know what that is? Look at that. That is hot water from a garden hose, all right? Hot water from a garden hose. Check that out. Let me show you how to do that. This is the Prier P-118 hot and cold wall hydrant. It is the Rolls-Royce of outside hose faucets. You know, most of us call it a hose faucet, but let me show you a few things about it. It's really amazing, all right? So this is what you see, and this is how you turn it on. You rotate this knob here that's got the black knurls, plastics on it, you know, either clockwise or counterclockwise to turn it on. But this center control, this center knob, is how you rotate it to get either hot or cold water or anywhere in between, you know, warm, whatever you want. And obviously to make that happen, it's got to have two different pipes coming in. So one of these is hot, one's cold. And they mark it from the factory. They mark it with a red check mark. And I went ahead and wrote on the pipe hot as well, just to remind me. And it makes sense because when you orient the faucet like this, you know, here in America, hot is on the left, and that's exactly where the pipe is. All right, these are 1/2-inch copper, and I'm going to solder onto them 1/2-inch Propex Honor adapters. All right, because I've got PEX in my home, and I have Honor, and it's different than shark bite. All right, so these are going to, you know, get soldered onto the ends here to make that transition. All right, so what I want to explain, this is the business end of the hydrant. This is where all of the valve turns on and off back in this area. And of course, you can order these in different lengths. The Prier website says anywhere from 4 inches, which would be a really thin wall, all the way to 14. And I made sure that I was going to have enough frost protection because I'm going to mount my faucet on this 1-inch thick block of wood. So from here to this first line is 1 inch. This space here is the drywall that's in the garage. This is the 2x6 that is, you know, makes the wall. This is the 1/2-inch drywall inside, and this much of the faucet will stick out underneath my laundry tub. Let's go look at how this is all going to work. This is the current faucet that's in my garage, all right? So this is my garage. There's my wife's car. Here's my Ford Ranger pickup truck. I like to have water here, but it's only cold for now. That's traditional cold water. And of course, I like to mount my faucets on a block of wood because obviously, in my case, since it's a vertical wall here, the faucet's got to go through the wall cavity. There's no stud in the center. You don't want that. So in my case, it happens to be that there's a stud right alongside here, and of course there's one at the corner, and the distance of this old 2x4 block is 17.5. I made my new block the exact same thing. All right, now, so this is what you're going to see on the outside when we're done. Let's go inside, and I'll show you where it's going to end up. Okay, I'm inside my laundry room, and just on the other side of this wall is where I was just a few moments before. This is my musty laundry tray. They're fantastic. It's wall hung. And look down here. All right, so right there in the center is where the existing wall hydrant comes through the wall. All right, so that's where the new Prier P-118 is going to come through. So you can see I've got a 1/2-inch PEX line that goes over and connects to the cold line. But when we're all finished, you're going to see that 1/2-inch cold and a new 1/2-inch PEX line that comes off of this shutoff valve here. All right, so, and what I'm going to do in the meantime, believe it or not, I'm going to take off this laundry sink off the wall to make it easier because I'm also replacing this faucet at the same time. So I'm doing 2 jobs at once. But this video is just about the Prier P-118. So Let's get started. The first thing I always recommend is for you to read the written instructions that come with the product. And in this case, it looks complex, but it is so very simple. You hardly need any tools at all, and it's really pretty much common sense. So let's get through it right now. All right, here's what happens. As I told you, I like to mount it to a block of wood. You could mount it to something else, but it's got to be strong because you have to imagine people tug on a hose. This hydrant has got to be securely fastened to the wall. All right, and if it's masonry or whatever, you don't have a lot of wiggle room to work in, and here's why. All right, so here's the back side of this hydrant. All right, and what happens is all you've got is this mounting ring. All right, and it's got to be mounted to the surface, whatever that surface is, whether it's wood like I'm using, maybe you're going to use a plastic block, whatever, and you don't have a lot of wiggle room because this right here where my thumb is, that's this outer edge of the hydrant, all right? And then you can see the hole that I bored. In my case, I bored an 1 3/4 hole because I was able to make that work. Their instructions say to do 2-inch, which would have made it, a 1/4 inch bigger in diameter. So that means you get closer and closer to these mounting screws. All right, so what happens is Prier gives you the stainless steel screws, these 4 panhead screws that go one here, one here, one here, one here. And of course, this screw also comes. This is the screw that once you have the hydrant in, that screw goes through this hole at the bottom and attaches it so that you cannot rotate. So it locks the hydrant to this mounting bracket. And what happens is this mounting bracket, once you have this in, and you got to make sure, it's really important. I drew this line that's plumb. You've got to make sure that you put this in correctly. You don't want it twisted like that or your wall hydrant's going to be twisted. All right, that's common sense, right? So when you go to install the faucet, the instructions say you rotate the faucet. You have it at the 5 and 11 o'clock position so that when you twist the faucet, there are tabs in here. See these tabs, these angled tabs? These angled tabs lock into these 2 parts of the bracket. All right, so that's what holds it in place. It's really, really important. So in my case, I'm going to screw this to the wood block now. I then have to put the hydrant through here, and then after that, I can solder on the 2 adapters. If I solder on the adapters now, I won't be able to get them through all of this. So that's the order in which I have to do it. You may have to do the same thing. All right, I'll show you what it looks like once I'm all done with that. Okay, I've got these 2 screws in here. This thing's rock solid. It's not going to move. I can now go ahead and drill and put in the other 2 screws, and we're going to be ready to slide the hydrant through. Okay, I've got it mounted. I've got the hydrant through the block. You can see this, and I want to show you how this works, what they were talking about the 5 and 11 o'clock position. So watch this. All right, so here you can see I've got this thing through here, and you can see the little tabs on that. All right, so what they're talking about is, imagine this is installed in the wall, and then if you get this at like 5 and 11 o'clock, in other words, this is at 5 o'clock, and then you rotate it, you basically have locked it into position. Look at that. It's beautiful. You've locked it in position. And to keep it there, that's where that little screw goes in to mount, to attach the faucet and to lock it into place on the bracket that's now hidden. And I'm going to do that right now because there's no reason in the world why not to put that in. It's going to be a lot easier to do now than to do upside down. You can see I've got the locking screw in place, and this is not going anywhere. I mean, I can turn this around. The hydrant is locked into place onto the wood mounting bracket. We're ready to go. My next step, I'm going to solder on these 2 Propex adapters. Okie dokie. The hydrant faucet's mounted to the block, solid as Sears. I went ahead and soldered on the two adapters. They're ready to go. I cleaned off all the flux. And by the way, I didn't show soldering it on. I've got a great video that I'm going to link to in the description that shows you step by step how to solder the right way. All right, so I didn't feel I needed to show that to you here since I've already done it. All right, now the next step, here's what we're going to do. I've disconnected this faucet from the inside. I just have to take out the 4 screws that are holding the 2x4 to the wall, and this will completely slide out, and we're ready to put the new one in. Here's a pro tip that many people might not show you this. This is from 40 years of being a master plumber. I went ahead and put some painter's tape over the ends of the adapters, because when I slide this through the wall, all right, I don't want a bunch of crap or drywall dust or grit or anything getting in these pipes. You don't want that inside this faucet, so you got to keep those covered. Pretty simple, but it's a common sense, but you'd be surprised how most people don't find it common, and they don't do it. And then they wonder why they have problems with the faucet dripping later. I've got the old block off 2x4. The old hydrant is out. I've enlarged the hole. I'm ready to put it in. Next video you see, next segment, it'll all be in. And we'll go inside and look at it. You can see it's installed. It's all done. All right, now, but I want to go inside and I want to show you why it's so important to put that painter's tape on. You can see why it's so important to put that painter's tape on. Look at all that fiberglass. Look at this. All right. That's why you've got to do that. It's really, really important. So just a little pro tip from a master plumber. Got my master's license in 1989. Remember at the beginning of the video, I shared that I was going to get the laundry tub out of the way because I've got to put a new faucet on, and it was just impossible to really get up back behind there. It's really hard. So now I'm going to show you what I got to do. Here's the cold water. And here was where I had put in a T to supply the old faucet, that was this line, with cold water, all right? So here's the hot water. So I'm going to take my PEX cutter and cut it as close as I can here so that'll allow me to get a T on here. And then what's going to happen is I need to get a 1/2-inch PEX line from here to here, because this is the hot side. Remember, this is why you want to mark it. I marked it so we wouldn't forget. It's kind of reversed when you look at it from behind. And then I have to put a coupling on here and get that over to this side here. So I'm going to go ahead and connect all that up, and then I will show you what the finished product looks like after we're all done. I decided to show you kind of what's going to happen before we do it. I thought you'd enjoy this. All right, so if you've never worked with PEX before, this is Oop Honor PEX. It's Aqua PEX. In my opinion, it's the best. It's the original PEX. These are the fittings. I'll be using the 90, a coupling, T, another 90. These are the collars. This is what makes the joints work, so they're leak-proof. And you can see them already installed here. All right, you'll see that all when I'm done. And I also have another video. I have a video that I did years ago that shows you exactly how to use this expansion tool. It is so very simple. You can do this yourself. You can actually rent these tools. And they also make them hand-powered if you don't want to get a powered one. But I'm going to, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to put a T right here in a vertical position like that, which then allows me to put a 90 on top of it that kind of aims this way over to here, because I'll then have a 90 here on the end of this hot water line so that we can come over and down into this faucet. That's how we're going to do it. That's the best way I think to do it. So the hot water line will be coming across at an angle. The cold water line is going to kind of do the same thing. I'll put a 90 here that's going to kind of aim down. I may aim it up. I want to get the hot water in first to see what kind of a crossover problem I have. And then it's going to aim over and capture here, and I'll put a coupling in to make all that work too. So you'll see all that once we're all finished. It's all connected. I know it looks a little bit like a Rube Goldberg hookup, but you know, we had a crossover issue. So I'm sure you could work it up a different way, but I've got plenty of height here. This is not going to hit the sink. The sink bottom's way up here, so I'm in good shape that way. And I tried to use as few fittings as possible to minimize friction loss, but we're all hooked up. And the next thing is to turn it on. Okay, well, I've got the hot water working. Isn't that amazing? Pretty cool, man. I mean, it's nice. That is really hot water coming out of there. Woo! I can barely keep my hand in it. All right, it's really that simple. If you want to get hot water, all you got to do is put in one of these Prier P-118 faucets. Simple as that.
If you want to discover more home improvement tips, go to AskTheBuilder.com.